Well, this is one of those times when I say, welcome to the May garden video, but it's so late in May that it's actually June, which is kind of typical for this year because everything is late because we had such a long stretch of cold weather in the spring. So things were kind of behind schedule anyway, and now I'm behind schedule too, but things are looking good, and I promised you wildly blooming chives in May, and they are in the May video, and you've probably heard me say this before, but these little blooms actually have an oniony taste to them and can be sprinkled into a dip and things like that. And they're very delicious and colorful. Now meanwhile, right here in bed one, in amongst all the weeds, these are cabbages, and the next row is broccoli, and finally we got Brussels sprouts, and we obviously have some weeding to do as well. This year we're doing summer squash in bed one. This is going to be zucchini here, I believe. This is a yellow scallop squash, and this then would be crookneck squash, yellow crookneck, and they're all looking okay. And meanwhile, this is pole beans, 4 varieties, and let's see, I got Vortex over here. The one that we first looked at was red noodle, and golly, I can't remember the other variety, so let me cheat and look at the little. Okay, that's nor'easter. That's new for me, and this is Marvel Lima, I believe, and they're all starting to climb the trellises, but they have yet to really take off. And at the end of this bed, sweet potatoes, and they're looking pretty darn good. These are the slips that I actually bought from Johnny's, and I did something a little bit different with them. Instead of just leaving them in the refrigerator and wrapped in paper towel, wet paper towel, I actually took them out, put them on a sunny windowsill, and filled the the little vase with water, and they seem to perk up quite a bit by doing that. So I might do that again next year. My own slips that I started didn't quite do so well. They were all right, but these were better, so I went with them. Now, you don't very often see radishes this small in the beginning of June, or the end of May, as it were. And that's just typical of how slow it's been. Just slow getting up. This is a second planting of carrots, and you can see there are lots of them coming up now, but the first planting, and Frankie can see that too, the first planting completely got drowned, and this row is beets, and I had some beets come up, like those there, and then some I did a second planting like those little ones right there, so it looks like we're okay. Now, the same thing happened with peas. They completely got drowned, and did not come up at all. So I did a second planting, and they look great. Look at that germination that I got. And I only had one variety, so it's the same variety in both beds here, but I'm very happy with the germination, and I didn't even use an inoculant this time around. Now, the rest of this bed is Silver Queen corn, and you can kind of see them there, just freshly planted. And in fact, this is all Silver Queen, and the rest of bed too here. Let me take you out to the external corn bed and introduce you to my planting crew from a few days ago. They were instrumental in getting me caught up out here in the garden. Single-handedly, they probably did about 500 corn plants themselves, and it was a monumental effort, but let me go introduce you and I'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, May is when we plant the corn, but we are behind schedule this year, And it's actually June 1st, and we're actually making the May garden video in June, but it's not too into June, so it still counts. But in order to help things along with the massive corn planting, I have imported several guest gardeners from all up and down the East Coast. And we'll see them hard at work now. You can see that's Cynthia Morris. She's from Maine, the Maine gardening contingent, as well as Stephen Morris, also from Maine. And he is also playing the role of honorary sister Mary, because this is actually a partial sisters weekend. And down here working...
I will never, ever question the high price of corn again.
Yeah, it's a job. And here we have from the midsection of the East Coast, Maryland, Aunt Swandy. And she is working on robust corn in a robust manner and doing an excellent job. And you can see this is a sizable bed, and they're already making great progress. And I'm preparing the beds in the garden proper for a little bit later. So there you have it. We are on our way in corn season. And so that was great, great and helpful work on their part. That was great. They probably never want to see a corn flat again, but they did a good job. And when it comes time to harvest, I'm sure they'll be proud of what they did. Meanwhile, this is bed number 3, and it's a half bed. And we got 3 varieties of onions. My 3 favorites, basically: Candy, Alyssa Craig, and Red Zeppelin. And all 3 of those I've had good luck with. Now, the potatoes are another failure story. The first planting, I only got a couple of plants to germinate, but I did have enough potatoes to just replant everything. I probably won't see those for another week or so coming up, but you can see the very few that actually did come up first time around. That brings us to bed number 4 and the leeks, which are looking very good. I plant them kind of tight, and I'll pull some during the season. And next to that is okra, and most of those guys look pretty well. We did have one casualty. And then kohlrabi, and the kohlrabi kind of got chewed up quite a bit. And I didn't plant them as tightly spaced as I should have, so I'm not going to get much in the way of a crop there. The next section here is sweet peppers, and again it looks like we got a little bit of a casualty there, but most of them are up and going and looking okay. We got 4 varieties here, I believe. And then that brings us to the tomatoes. And the good news about being too lazy to take down your tomato cages and store them like a good gardener should is that once I just left everything here, once I planted everything, they're already staked and caged. So that's one less thing that I have to do to get going this year. So, and they are doing quite well, as you can see. And planted in between here is where I decided to put the ground cherries this year. And lo and behold, it looks like we have a ground cherry coming in already. So that'll be nice. Frankie will like that. He loves the ground cherries, as do I. But that rounds out the tomato patch proper. But then I had so many good tomato plants that I decided to go ahead and keep planting them. So, and I had more varieties than I thought. I guess maybe I was thinking of putting some in planters, but instead I've planted them out here. So we have many, many tomato plants this year, and hopefully that will mean many, many tomatoes. And this is an Indian corn variety, and that's planted in the rest of this bed number, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're coming along okay. Also, my corn planters helped me with that. This bed, which is bed number 6, did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty sad. I have to count them every time. Is vacant. We'll see how many marigolds come up on their own, and whether or not it makes sense to transplant some of them in here. But if not, that bed can just rest for this season. And now let's take a quick walk out to the external corn bed, much to Frankie's dismay. And I think you can see all down these rows what a great job my corn planters did. And it's a staggering number of plants to put into the ground. And the sun was very hot that day too. Kind of cloudy today. But this bed is just ready to go. As you can see, I've put up the solar battery operated electrical fence, and believe me, it works. I tested it. And my little varmint fence of coated chicken wire, that proved to be, those two combined can prove to be a great help in keeping things from getting to the corn. And then I've got all the irrigation set up as well, and all on timers, and we're supposed to get like, I don't know, maybe 2 inches of rain overnight tonight, so I'll turn the water off. But at least we're ready now, and we're in full swing. Let me just poke my head, or myself, back inside the perimeter. And there's Frankie. He doesn't like it when I go out there and leave him here. That's just not right. Right, Frankie? Right, boy? He's got his biker scarfie on, as does Jesse. Although Jesse's is turned around a little bit. Here we go, Jesse. Just turn this around so it can look all beautiful. Nice girl. What a good girl. And they're having a great time out here in the garden. And it's a lovely night. I mean, it's calm right now. Very overcast. We're supposed to get quite a bit of rain overnight tonight, like I said. But the garden is taking good shape. Is that right? Anyway, also our annuals are ready. One of my planter helpers, my sister Sandy, planted all the window boxes up on the front deck, so that's why the petunias are sort of piecemeal down there. But these guys are waiting to go in around the house, and there's a site that would scare my corn helpers, which is corn flats, but those are just the spares, and those are some other spare seedlings in the back. And I think that is, as we say, going to do it for May. Things are really happening around here. We have a big event planned for the summer solstice, and so I'm getting ready for all that kind of stuff, and my helpers helped me with everything inside and out this weekend. Power Sisters weekend it was, because it was 3 of my sisters and a brother-in-law, and they did a great job. Very helpful. But that's going to do it. This is Marvin Gardens for May 2014, although it's the beginning of June. And we'll see you next month in June. Hope your summer is starting off fun, if nothing else. Talk to you later. Bye.